The COVID-19 pandemic has affected every single individual on Earth. My family has been personally affected in a variety of ways. Here are some of their experiences. What part of your life was most affected by COVID-19?
I think it was the nuisance of having to, like, for example, wait in queues now before shops. That was probably the thing I noticed most.
Staying at home, probably mostly, not traveling, very seldom going to the shops to do any shopping, with only, one member of the family really going out to do the shopping.
How did COVID-19 impact your personal relationships?
Well, I think it meant we had to do a lot more video calls or Zoom calls as opposed to going to visit people or going out to meet people.
I think as a family we maybe became a bit closer because we spent more time together, and also because we had Granny Vaughan staying with us.
The total number of cases of COVID-19 globally are 242,145,619. The total number of casualties from COVID-19 globally are 4,924,149. Why do you think COVID-19 has had such a big impact globally?
I think there's a lot of people who've been known somebody who's passed away from the disease or has been hospitalized.
It didn't help that it mostly affects the sort of most vulnerable, so those with pre-existing conditions and all that. And also just the fact that there seems to be such a discrepancy between sort of the weakest cases and the strongest cases. And it just stressing the medical system to its limit pretty much.
I personally think that people didn't understand the infection you could get from it and how quickly it could spread.
When did you feel the most scared during the COVID-19 pandemic?
I think when the amount of people that were dying in hospital was shown on TV, so you saw around the world the high rates of deaths.
If anyone else got sick, would I worry that they had COVID, or would any complications come up because of COVID?
COVID-19 has not only had health impacts, but also financial, political, and social. Who have you missed the most during the COVID-19 pandemic?
I think seeing very little of extended family.
I think it definitely doesn't help that sort of we're unable to travel around the world, and I've got friends everywhere, so it's tricky not to be able to go around and meet them.
Probably my children.
Where do you feel most vulnerable to contracting COVID-19?
I think for me it would be like the train or the tube station, in the tubes.
Schools. I think schools are, especially working with young children, very young children, they are very good at spreading germs.
The COVID-19 pandemic has persisted despite vaccination efforts, meaning local stories about it will continue. My family has had to adapt to the pandemic, and your family has almost certainly had to as well.